All right, what's going on, everybody? Chris is here with myself. We are going to preview the entire bowl season. All these games were released, I believe it was Sunday, possibly into Monday. Chris has got all the betting news for you here, the lines that you need to bet. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the storylines in these games. There's definitely some intriguing games, at least I think, here with some of the news that has happened. So, Chris, you ready to jump into this and hopefully win some people some money?
Born ready.
All right, let's do it. We're going to go in order. For those of you who don't know, we're going to go in order of the games. We're not just going to jump around. So we're going to start on Friday, December 16th, 10 days from today. We've got 6-6 Miami of Ohio against UAB in the Hometown Lenders Bahama Bowl. UAB is favored by 10 here. Chris, do you think Dwayne McBride plays? I guess the biggest thing will be does he go to the draft or not, which I haven't heard anything about him. What kind of is your read on this game?
I think he does play, for what it's worth. This line currently tells me that they expect him to play. I'm not sure he's ready to declare. I mean, he's a third-year player at UAB, and as he led the country in rushing yards, so it's not like I want to dog him for anything, but...
Oh, wait, did he really?
Yeah, he did.
So congratulations then, by the way.
That was my hot take.
That was your hot take at the beginning of the year. That was
my hot take. Yeah. So, I mean, I do think he plays. Miami's in a weird situation, right? Like they're going to see a couple more transfers, I think, before the bowl. We already see Gabbert is out. I think he'll go elsewhere. I think he could be a low end Power 5 starter. I think he's pretty good. I think I'm the only one who thinks that among our crew, though. But yeah, I like UAB in this game. At 10 points, I don't like them that much because I do think both these defenses are really good. I would much rather target the under in this matchup if I was going to play something. But this is kind of a no play spot for me personally.
All right, so no play spot here. I'm going to write no play spot so we can kind of go back through the end here and recap all these. The Duluth Trading Cure Bowl, which I think this could actually be a very fun game. Two teams that won their conferences in ranked now. UTSA at 25 and Troy at 24. Troy 1.5 favorites. What are your thoughts on this one?
So UTSA lost. Well, he's actually going to coach in this game. Will Stein was hired away, whatever, to be Oregon's offensive coordinator. That's super exciting for them. I'm just happy Troy's ranked, to be honest. 11-2 Troy, who kind of ran through that conference this year, the Sun Belt. Like, good on John Sumrall. Like, he really deserves some Coach of the Year consideration. But I like Troy in this matchup. I don't know what this UTSA offense is going to look like in this game. And Troy's defense is seriously I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's probably one of the top 2 or 3 FCS defenses in the country. And I think they can actually slow down UTSA. So I like Troy to win this one. And if I'm getting them, there's a 1 out there, 1.5, 1. I like Troy in this matchup. I think that they're a good spot. They actually came into this game as underdogs, and it's kind of shifted back towards Troy in the last 12 hours or so. So okay. Troy money's coming in, and I think that if you want to get on them, you probably should do so before it hits 3.
I am definitely not the seasoned bettor that you are, but I do agree with you, and I think it's going to be a great game. I would take Troy as well. Saturday, December 17th, we have the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, or should this really be named the Scott Satterfield Bowl? As he leaves Louisville to go to Cincinnati, they are playing each other. We don't really know what this team's going to look like, though, right? I mean, is Ben Bryant going to start for Cincinnati? You would think maybe Evan Prater's got a shot to do something here. He's closer to Malik Willis, or what Malik Willis was at Louisville, than Ben Bryant. You've got probably Malik Cunningham's last collegiate game here. I assume he plays this. I haven't seen him say he's not going to. Getting to go up against his old head coach. This is just filled with incredible storylines here.
It is. So I actually have not played anything on this game, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think I will. I like Louisville minus 1.5, and here's why. Okay. I know they're losing Satterfield. I'm not sure that's necessarily a bad thing for this team. He's been out the door for 3 years in a row, basically. He's been publicly interviewing for jobs. I don't think it's really a healthy environment there with Satterfield.
It's
Malik
it's
Cunningham.
what is it called? It's an addition by subtraction kind of thing, right?
Yes,
For Louisville?
yes,
Yeah.
it very much could be. I do think Malik Cunningham will play. Ben Bryant will not play. He is done for the year with a foot injury, so I expect Evan Prater to play. And we saw Evan Prater; he did not look all that impressive to me. He was fine on the ground, but Louisville's defense in the second half actually came on pretty strong. So the defense coordinator is going to coach in this game. He was hired away today, but I like Louisville here. I really do. I think that they can win this game. And I think there's a reason that they're favored. And the Cards just, I really think they're going to play hard against Cincinnati because the coach got hired away.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That would be, I would feel the same way. A coach is kind of sitting there one day, and the next thing you know is like, I'm off to Cincinnati, which I don't know is necessarily a better job. I mean, maybe it's because
not.
Maybe it's because, as you mentioned, he's been interviewing. I know a lot of people said that he was kind of on the hot seat here for Louisville. So maybe that's why he did is like one of those things like, hey, instead of getting fired, I'm just going to up and leave so that you guys can't fire me kind of thing, which makes some sense. But I think if I'm a player, I take that kind of personally, and I would 100% be going out there to try and rub it back in his face. We're taking Louisville -1.5, the New Mexico Bowl. This could also be a very interesting game. 7-5 SMU versus 7-5 BYU. We know last time we saw Jaren Hall, he was hurt. Do we expect him to play, or do you think he plays in this one to try and improve that draft stock?
I'm not sure if he's going to play. I go back and forth. I think he might sit out so that he doesn't exacerbate the injury. There are people who like him as like a day 2 pick. And if you're Jaren Hall, you probably don't want to make that worse. I do think he has one more year of eligibility left, though. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he does, and he's already like 25. Don't think he's going to come back. This is a weird game, though, because SMU has a couple players who hit the portal, and Tanner Mordecai announced he was going to draft. I think he'll play in this game, but it's a really tough game to handicap, in my opinion. And I would wait for news on this one to maybe attack the under if we're missing 1 or 2 quarterbacks. I think this 70.5 total is like way too high if that news comes out. So no play on the side, but wait on the under is my suggestion.
Take the under, especially if Jaren Hall doesn't play, is what you're suggesting. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember who their backup quarterback was, but they did not want him to throw the ball at all in that game against Stanford. Was watching because I was going up against Jaren Hall in a very big money league, and I needed Jaren Hall to not do anything, and they refused to let that guy throw the ball at all in that game.
Yeah, Hall's been hurt since like the Utah State game. Like he's been banged up for a couple weeks now. I would not surprise me if he did not play here.
I want to dub this the Felix Sharp Bowl because I feel like this is the game that he is going to be looking forward to more than any other game. But it is technically labeled as the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel. Yet 7-5 Washington State versus 9-4 Fresno State. Fresno State favored by 1.5. I personally am just looking forward to watching Cam Ward versus Jay Kaner in his final game. I know Felix is hoping he balls out and gets drafted. I believe his exact quote is, Jay Kaner will end up being remembered as the Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, and Tom Brady of his draft. So we'll see if that happens. But his last collegiate game here with Fresno State.
Yeah, no pressure on Jay Kaner there.
None at all.
No, this is a pretty interesting matchup, right? Because Washington just had 2 of their top 3 receivers leave in the portal, Donovan Nolly and Deshaun Stribling.
Yeah.
I don't know what this offense is going to look like. I like Cam Ward can't, like he's had a pretty pedestrian year anyway. I think Fresno State's going to win this game. And they open as 4.5-point dogs here. And I still think you can play them up to like 3 because I just don't know what this Washington State offense is going to do. And Fresno State's defense has played a lot better in the second half too.
Yeah.
This team has certainly improved on both sides of the ball. Ever since Jaren Hall got back, they kind of like are clicking. And I think that's because the defense can actually rest and not get 3 and outs every single possession. So I think it's all coming together, and they have a better pass defense than they do rush defense. And I think that you're going to see that in this game. So I like Fresno State, but I hope Jay Kaner is a good game too. Like this offense should be able to produce. Like this is a good Washington State defense, but Jay Kaner is going to put literally everything he has into this game.
Yeah, I am excited for this one. What is interesting is not just Washington State either. We're going to have to talk about this with a lot of teams as we go through these bowls. Like the transfer portal has killed some of these teams now in these bowl games. And I don't even think if these players transfer in, they can necessarily play. They have to wait till after bowl season. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I'm with you on that. I'd like to see Cam Morton, Washington State play well, but I mean, losing your two top wide receivers is not ideal. I've got no idea what to do with this game. I'm going to be 100% honest. The Lending Tree Bowl, 5-7 Rice versus 6-6 Southern Miss. Southern Miss favored by 7.
So I play Southern Miss at 5.5. It's up to 7 everywhere but BetMGM, which currently has 6.5. So if you want to play it, that's what I would do. I think Southern Miss is just a substantially better team. Will Hall deserves some credit for what he's done for this program too, considering like they've been down 3 or 4 different quarterbacks at times this year. But their defense is good. I think Southern Miss could be a legitimately good team next year. Like 6-6 ain't bad for this team either. But Rice is awful. Like I just think Rice is bottom of the barrel kind of program. At least as it stands. I like Southern Miss here. I think Southern Miss could win by double digits. I think the under in this game is pretty interesting, but I'm definitely playing the Golden Eagles side here.
All right. Next up on that day is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. Another intriguing game is you get 6-6 Florida versus a good, in my opinion, 9-3 Oregon State team who's ranked number 14. Now, we do know now that Anthony Richardson is going into the NFL draft, but I don't believe when he said he was foregoing his final year of eligibility that he said he wasn't playing in the bowl game. And so I don't know if we should expect him to play or if he just goes on. Because if he just goes on, you're looking at probably Jack Miller III going up against a very good Oregon State defense.
I don't think he's going to play. Like, if you're Anthony Richardson, why would you?
Yeah,
I don't think he's like this is going to sound, I want to phrase this the right way. I don't think he's a gamer the same way that like Jake Haener is. Like Jake Haener's been with this program starting for like 4 years. Like Anthony Richardson started as a different coach. It's a different, like the situation is entirely different for Anthony Richardson. And he has like first round upside where a guy like Jake Haener doesn't. And so I would be surprised if he did play. There's a 9.5 out there at a couple different spots. BetMGM again is giving us our best odds. I don't know that I would play that. It's just kind of a big number. Oregon State's defense has been really good, though. Oregon State has certainly improved. I actually think if they add a quarterback, they could be one of the best teams in the Pac-12. And you even you noted it on the sheet. Like, yeah, they could be legit.
I think they are one of the better teams in the Pac-12. And what scares me is there are rumors that DJ might be heading here.
Yeah, I've heard
that. I don't know that I love that landing spot. I mean, Jonathan Smith has made, Chance Nolan look good at times, Ben Branson. So maybe DJ U's able to put together. They do have Aiden Childs coming in next year. I don't know that he'll start as a freshman, but he is a very good quarterback in my opinion. So I think
very
Oregon
underrated.
State, yes, I think they are on the way up. I think I would take Oregon State, especially if Jack Miller's playing. Like, I mean, that's kind of thing. And where I kind of agree with you on the Richardson thing is like he almost has nothing to gain here. If he plays in this game, the only thing he has is to lose. Because if he looks bad, then people are going to say something. If he gets injured, that's only worse as he's heading into the combine and getting ready for the draft. So I would also lean toward he doesn't play. So I mean, that, like I said, at that point you're starting. Because I could be wrong. I want to say Oregon State's fairly good against the run as well. So, like, what is Florida going to do? Just rely on Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson? Because I don't know that Jack Miller can beat you.
Yeah, I don't know really how they're going to get offense. I don't think Richardson plays either. That's my hunch. Like the worst case scenario is you get a devastating injury. Best case scenario is what?
Yeah.
Like you're already a toolsy prospect. Like you're not gaining anything from playing in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's, I mean, that's the one thing that sucks about that too is like this had a chance if Richardson was playing, say he was coming back, it's had a chance to be a really fun matchup with him. That offense going up against this defense, Jack Miller going out there and leading the Florida Gators is not inspiring much confidence. The Frisco Bowl, 7-6 North Texas with 30-year-old Austin Awney, which I did not realize he was that old until today.
Has he finally turned 30?
I believe he's actually still 29, but I would imagine he still has 1 year of eligibility left, right? So he could possibly be a dude playing starting quarterback for North Texas who's also making a mortgage payment is like that's goals right there. I wish I could go back and play some college football. That'd be hilarious. But they are playing 9-4 Boise State. Boise State favored by 10. Talon Green looked good in their bowl. Was that last week? I feel like championship week was like multiple weeks ago. Looked good last week. Gets now a chance to go up against a North Texas team that I'm going to be honest, even though they're like 20 minutes down the road for me, I know nothing about outside of Austin Awney. What are your thoughts on this game?
We got to get you to some North Texas games so you can watch them.
Funny story about that. I actually, my wife, you know her as the ass man inside joke. Nobody else is going to understand that. One of the people that she works with is an alumni of UNT, has season tickets. When I thought Grant Gunnell was going to be the starter there, he gave me like tickets to go to like all these games because I was like, I'm going to go support my guy Grant. And then he ended up not getting the job. I was like, no, fuck that. I don't want to go waste my time at a North Texas game.
Yeah.
Rough times in the Bruening household.
I believe it. So I think Boise has a lot to play for in this game. Their early season was terrible, but they've been pretty good since. They got beat by Fresno pretty good last week, but Fresno's good defense. I don't think North Texas is. North Texas, did they lose outright to Rice? I believe they did. Or they barely beat them. Either way, they were like 20-point favorites against Rice, and they should have crushed them. They did not. And they fired Seth Luttrell, their head coach. This might just be a dead team in the bowl game, not like a Louisville situation. They might just not play very well. So I actually like Boise State if I can get a 9.5, and I think I can. Let's see. Can I get a 9.5? I can't, but I'll. You know what? I feel frisky. I would play a 10. I would play a 10 here, and there are plenty of 10s available.
Rice barely lost to North Texas 17-21. So
yeah, Rice had led in that game, but North Texas was favored by like double digits. Like it should not have been close.
Monday, December 19th, the only game on this day. It's one thing I hate. Like that week leading up to Christmas, we've got a bunch of games with just like one day games on one day. Kind of sucks. But Myrtle Beach Bowl, 8-4 Marshall, who's favored by 9.5 against 6-6 UConn. I imagine Marshall's going to win this probably fairly easily. Do we get to see maybe Rasheen Ali? I know we played a little bit toward the end of the year. Like maybe we get some of him in this bowl game.
I would think so. Like, I don't think there's a reason for him to sit out if he played last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think it's last week, whatever. He played the last handful of games. I think we do. I think we should. I think we're going to see Cam Fancher at quarterback, who I like. I think that he's a substantially better option at Marshall. I think they're going to win. Their defense is just legit, and UConn is suspect. I mean, I would play Marshall 9.5 personally. I just think that's the right side in this matchup. And I just think, I don't know how UConn's going to move the ball. The total here is only like 40.5. And I think Marshall could potentially move it on UConn a little bit better. So I like Marshall here. This game is not far from me. This game is in Conway, South Carolina. So, I mean, it's like hour and a half, 2 hours for me. Maybe I'll make it down the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Should get your credentials. Yeah, we should get your credentials. You can go down there and cover UConn, who, I'm glad that they made it into a bowl game, but I don't know that I would love to watch them play Marshall.
I am too. Like, Jim Mora deserves a bunch of credit for what he was able to do for this game.
I agree. I mean, we're out here talking about, Kirby for Coach of the Year. Give it to Jim Mora. I mean, come on.
Kirby, come on.
Look, it wasn't me. I mean, it may have been someone at this company. It wasn't me talking about how he deserved Coach of the Year nominations. Tuesday, December 20th, we get 2 games. Kicks off first with the famous Iowa Potato Bowl, 8-4 Eastern Michigan at 7-4 San Jose State, favored by 3.5.
Yeah, I have no idea what to do with this game.
Yeah, I didn't
legitimately no idea because San Jose is like, they've just been a really weird team in the second half. Understandable, like when one of your teammates passes away, that it affects the team's psyche. no idea what's going to happen here. They could cruise to a win because they're a substantially better team than Eastern Michigan, but I don't know. I simply do not know. I don't want to stay away from this game, basically in any aspect.
It's also kind of got to suck for San Jose too, right? Like, don't they have to? This is in like Idaho, isn't it, or Iowa?
I would assume it's in Idaho, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Potato Bowl. I was trying to figure out where exactly it is. It's in
Boise.
Albertson Stadium,
which is
Boise,
Stadium,
Idaho.
right?
Yeah, Boise, Idaho.
Blue Field.
How much does that have to suck? The week before Christmas, you're traveling from San Jose to Idaho to play a football game in a bowl game that you earned the right to go to. And instead of getting to go to the Honolulu Bowl or the Myrtle Beach Bowl, you get to go to Idaho in probably snow and freezing cold weather to then turn around and play Eastern Michigan.
I might want to be in Boise, Idaho over Myrtle Beach, but maybe that's just me.
Nathan, I might have said Iowa, mostly because it's just Idaho, Iowa. I don't want to be in either one of those places personally. They could have gotten to the Roof Claim Boca Raton Bowl. I would have much rather gone there. That is, though, 8-4 Liberty versus 8-5 Toledo. Toledo favored by 4.5 points. Daquan Finn. We get Liberty, who is not going to have. Is Chadwell going to be in this game?
So I've seen some weird speculation that he is, but I would be shocked if he was.
See, I was seeing that, what was it? I heard someone talking today, like how Grayson McCall and those guys were going to have to play their bowl game without Chadwell. So I assumed he was going to be there with Liberty. I mean, I don't know how you're coaching a game. I mean, you're talking about it's literally 13 days from now, 14 days from now, and you're going to go right in there and just trying to coach a game. It seems crazy to me, but.
I don't think he'll coach, but he might not be at Coastal's game. I could see both of those happening. I really find it hard to believe that they're going to let Chadwell coach, or Chadwell's going to even want to coach. Like, this is not his team. Like, let the current staff deal with it, in my opinion. But either way, I think Toledo might just crush him just because they've got a really good defense. When Daquan Finn plays, this team is just incredibly different. He looked healthy last week. In their matchup against Ohio in the MAC championship. So I think he's healthy. It's good weather. I assume it's Boca Raton.
Yeah, it's it's got to be good weather. Better than
what I assume.
The Idaho Potato Bowl. So
that's true. No, I actually played Toledo yesterday when it was before Cross 3, but I would still play them at 3.5.
I like this matchup. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Moving on to Wednesday, December 21st, you get the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. This looked like a fun matchup with the 8-5 Western Kentucky versus 10-2 South Alabama. South Alabama is favored right now by 7. But now we don't know what this WK offense is going to look like with Austin Reed and Joshua Simon both jumping into the portal. I don't think they can come back and play once they're in the portal. So no idea what this Kentucky offense is going to look like. I already thought South Alabama had a chance to win this game. I feel like that's probably the way to go now.
Yeah, they opened at 2.5-point favorites, which I played that anyway because I thought they were the better team. So I'm in agreement with you there. I still might play 7, but there was so many opportunities yesterday to nab this at 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and it finally hit a touchdown today. You could play 7. I don't know where Western Kentucky is getting this offense from. They have no quarterbacks left. Darius Ocean's also entered the portal. They have Caden Beltcamp, who is, I have no idea if he's any good. He threw a couple nice passes in the spring. So he's the son of their strength and conditioning coordinator. Okay. But he threw one nice pass in spring. So I would certainly lean the South Alabama side here.
That sounds like the smart play. Thursday, December 22nd, we get the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. This is actually right near me. Maybe I'll try and go to this game. It's 6-6 Baylor, who's favored by 6.5, plays 9-3 Air Force. I think this could actually be a fun game. Where do you kind of fall on this one?
Yeah, I actually wonder what we're going to see from the Baylor side. Is Blake Shapen going to start this game?
I would
Probably.
assume so.
I
Was
mean,
he didn't get hurt, did he, at the end?
he got hurt, but I don't know if it's enough to actually keep him out of this game. And I assume not, since the spread is 6.5, 7, depending where you look. I lean Baylor in this matchup, but I don't really know what to think about this Baylor team because they've been beat on the ground a little bit, and they're substantially worse through the air because they have 0 NFL players on that secondary because they lost them all to the draft. But this could just be an interesting game. I think I lean the Baylor side, but I don't have a play. It's just a game that I'm going to watch on Thursday because I have the week off.
So. Yeah. I mean, I'll be right there with you. Moving on to Friday, December 23rd, the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. You get 6-6 Louisiana versus 7-5 Houston, who is favored by 6.5.
I don't know to do this game either. I think Houston is substantially better. And if I was power rating this game, I would probably, if I was power rating this game and didn't manually adjust Houston down, it would probably be like 9.5, 10. But I'm not sure Tank Dell's going to play in this game. I'm not sure Clayton Tune is going to play in this game. I don't know who's going to play from Houston. I would not be surprised if either of those guys ended up not playing. But Houston is so much better than this ULL team that I feel uncomfortable playing a side in this. I think Houston may have quit this year, too.
Yeah.
I think they quit on Holgorsen.
Rumors about that. There were a lot of rumors about that.
I was a little surprised that Holgorsen also wasn't fired. Like, I thought that he was a dark horse candidate to be fired. Maybe he'll get fired after the bowl game. But I do not want to back Houston here as a favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he'll get fired after they lose to 6-6 Louisiana. Because, yeah, I mean, it goes back to kind of the Anthony Richardson conversation we had. Like, I guess Dell and Tune, how much are they really going to help their draft stock if they go out there and have a good game against Louisiana? Probably none. Like, is an NFL
Their
team
stock
going to
won't change?
Yeah, like they're going to look at Tune and be like, oh my God, if threw for 300 yards against Louisiana, he's a round 5 pick now. Like, that's not going to change anything.
You just saw him throw for 8 touchdowns against SMU. Like, I don't think beating up on ULL is really going to change all that much.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that one. I'll watch it, but I'm not super excited for it. The next one, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, is intriguing. Shouldn't even have been this matchup, but for whatever reason, Missouri refused to play. Who was it again? Who do they refuse?
Kansas in the Liberty Bowl.
That's right. Yeah, refused to play Kansas. So now they get Wake Forest, who I think they're probably going to get destroyed by, but we'll see. 7-5 Wake Forest against 6-6 Missouri, who is favored by 3. Looks like this is going to be Sam Hartman's final game for Wake Forest, but possibly not his final college game, as Jimmy Clausen had some interesting quotes. Now, I did not see this. I saw Bud Elliott say something about it, and I see you have something on here about Florida. What exactly was said, and do we really think Sam Hartman's going to Florida?
So, I actually messed up the sheet here. Wake Forest is favored in this game, so that's on me. So there's been speculation for the last month or so that he's been in contact with Florida, or like they've been in contact with him through like back channels or whatever. Don't accuse any improper conduct, of course.
Right.
But there's been serious buzz about this, that Florida has like honed in on him as a potential starter for next year. And the Clausen quote today, I think, fed a lot of fuel to that fire. And basically, the idea of what he said is, let's see, I have it up somewhere? Yeah, I got it. I think right now his intention is to go to the NFL, which I think that's well documented. But when the bowl game is over, if there is some incredible offer for him to go to another school and get that life-changing money, how could we fault him for that? That certainly sounds like a player who is going to not enter the draft and go to a program that plays the NIL game better than Wake Forest does. And a lot of buzz is Florida.
Man, well, that would be intriguing, I guess. I don't know how much I'd love to fit there, but it'd probably be good. I mean, I'd like it because I have many shares of him for CFF, and I'd imagine he'll be at least decent with Florida next year. Any shot you think Luther Burden has that breakout game here? We know Wake Forest's defense has been passed on. Like, I hope that he could have a big game here. I don't know that I'm necessarily betting on that.
I do wonder if the time off, right? This game is the 3rd week of December. So you got 2 weeks from now to prep, and you've had 2 extra weeks since their last game played, a whole month, you might see him deployed maybe in a little bit of a downfield role compared to what he's done all year. And what he's done all year has basically been operating around the line of scrimmage and then go after the catch and make everybody miss because he's that good of an athlete and player. I would like to see that. And I think he could. I think this is the game where you could deploy him like that because what you said about Wake Forest secondary. So
Saturday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, you get the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, 7-2 Middle Tennessee State University. Is that correct? I always forget what MTE is.
Middle Tennessee State University.
Versus 7-5 San Diego State, who is favored by 7. I didn't really have much on this game. You betting any certain side or?
So I actually bet, and I told our Discord this at the time too, that the fact that San Diego State opened this game as 1.5 point underdog was ridiculous. Like I have no idea what FanDuel was thinking on that one. And just like for future reference, FanDuel releases their lines a little bit earlier than everybody else, and they're probably one of the least sharp companies. So when Circa or like a different Vegas book comes out, they then adjust to whatever that book is. So they open at 1.5. It is now 7. An 8.5 point swing is very uncommon when there isn't a bunch of news. And even when there is, still very uncommon. I still like San Diego State in this game. Not as much as I did when they were dogs or even when they were like under field goal. But I think they win this game. Jalen Maida and their quarterback's been playing substantially better than anybody else like Braxton Burmeister did early in the season. Defense is legit. MTSU is like a pretty fraudulent 7-5 team, in my opinion.
Sucks that that's the game we get on a standalone the day before Christmas. I guess we'll get NFL games that day. I would assume so. At least we'll have that. I guess
we do.
Monday, December 26th, we get the Quick Lane Bowl. 6-6 New Mexico State. Good for them. And 6-6 Bowling Green, who is favored by 2.5 points. What are your thoughts here on Jerry Kill and this bowl game?
Good for both of these teams. Both these teams, both these coaches. Like 6-6 New Mexico State, 6-6 Bowling Green. Like round of applause for Scott Loeffler and Jerry Kill. But Jerry Kill's first year with the program. First bowl game in 5 years. Their second winning season since 2002. Their fifth winning season since 1978. And they have now had back-to-back winning seasons since 1967.
Jeez.
So Jerry Kill, round of applause. But you are probably going to get crushed by Bowling Green. Sorry.
Hey,
I like Bowling Green under a field goal here.
But at least you've got that, and you have a chance. They didn't have a winning record last year, did they? Right?
No, they haven't had a winning record since 2017 when Doug Martin was their coach.
Now you have a goal for next year.
Yeah, you'd have the first back-to-back winning season, 500 or winning season, I should say, because that's what it is.
1967. That is a long time ago. Long time ago. Felix may remember that.
I think he was at the game.
He probably was. Tuesday, December 27th, you get the Camilla Bowl, 6-6 Georgia Southern, who's favored by 3.5 against 6-6 Buffalo. Do you have any plays in this one?
I lean the Georgia Southern side in this one. I wonder if I can get it at a field goal. I don't believe I can. So that might be a no play for me. If I could find it at 3, that I will play that. I do like Georgia Southern in this game. This is the Kyle Van Treese revenge game. Entered the portal from Buffalo last year, went to Georgia Southern under Clay Helton. Has been, I think he's 4th in the country in regular season passing yardage. Like that's pretty good especially for a guy who's honestly not that type of quarterback. So good for Kyle Van Treese revenge game. I just want to applaud the coaches on both sides of this game. That's the more interesting thing to me in this matchup. Like Mo Linguist has done a really good job at Buffalo recruiting, and they've actually added some dudes from Ohio that should probably be going to different MAC schools and have ended up in Buffalo. I think they're reaching a little further than they traditionally have. And Lance Leipold was a great coach there too. So I think Mo Linguist is doing a good job. And Clay Helton and Brian Ellis. Brian Ellis was the quarterback coach at Western Kentucky last year. Clay Helton, obviously USC guy. that both these teams are on the right path, and I think we're going to see a lot more bowl games with both of these. So I'm just excited for this game, to be honest. No real like big impact players. Like a lot of the Georgia Southern guys that I like Derwin Burgess is hurt, but fun game.
Next up, the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl, 6-6 Memphis, which is favored by 10 versus 6-6 Utah State. I don't know how to feel about this game. I feel like this is probably one of the worst bowl games this bowl season, personally. I'm not looking forward to this game at all.
So I put the lines in here. Since I put this line in here, which was not that long ago, it's dropped to 7. So something is going to happen on the Memphis side that I don't think we've heard about quite yet. I am guessing. Otherwise, I would be laying it with Memphis with confidence. I think there's news that we just haven't heard or isn't public yet. This could be a terrible bowl game, though. I tend to agree. Listen. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not working. I'm not working that day either. I'm gonna watch it, of course, but it's gonna be a bad bowl. This is probably one of my least favorite bowl games.
Yeah, that one and the next one for me, which is Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl, 9-3 Coastal Carolina versus 7-5 East Carolina, who is favored by 7 points. And we just don't know what's going to go on right now with Coastal Carolina. I mean, there's some reports Chadwell will be gone, some that he'll be there. Likely Grayson McCall's final game. There's not really a lot to be excited about in this game for me.
Yeah, I think McCall's going to play. I think he might come back for the 2023 season. He has eligibility. I don't know if he will follow Chadwell to Liberty or he'll stay at East Carolina. He's a Carolina kid, so Virginia isn't that far either. But maybe he stays. The more interesting thing is this is probably going to be the last game that we're going to see from Coastal Carolina that's running their gimmicky fake option system. Willie Corn's going to. I don't know if he's coaching this game, but if he's still calling the offense regardless. I wonder. I don't think he's going to stay. So this might be the last time we see good fantasy appeal from this Coastal Carolina team because Tim Beck is coming in, the offensive coordinator at North Carolina State, and as someone who is about 5 minutes from the North Carolina State stadium, I did not like this hire in any capacity. I think that this might be a very bad fantasy option moving forward, and I don't know that he's going to be that long at Coastal Carolina.
Is that worse than, and I can't remember his name for the life of me at the moment. What's worse, Tim Beck or Virginia? Allen. Is it Allen, right?
Tony Elliott.
Elliott. I'm sorry. Yeah, Elliott.
Oh, Elliott's worse, but I mean,
okay.
Tim Beck is not a good hire, in my opinion. He just doesn't have he's a super conservative coach who is probably a lot better off as working under an offensive coordinator who also wants to be conservative, which is exactly what he had in Dave Doran. They were the good match. I don't think he's a good head coach if he's not going to be aggressive with his play calling. I would be surprised if he was.
So this next bowl game kind of took a massive hit yesterday when the transfer portal opened up. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which was 6-6 Wisconsin versus 7-5 Oklahoma State, who's favored by 3. Graham Mertz out at Wisconsin. Rumors that Braylon Allen will probably be gone as well. I imagine even if he's not, he's probably not playing in this game. He came up injured, didn't play in the final game for Wisconsin. And then you move over to the Oklahoma State side, which is just absolutely blowing up at the moment. They've already had, I believe, 8 offensive players enter the transfer portal. I don't know what this team's going to look like. The players openly criticizing the coaching staff and offensive play caller. I imagine it's going to be Garrett Rangel who starts this game for Oklahoma State, which doesn't inspire confidence against a good Wisconsin team who will probably be playing for Jim Letter, and especially since he's staying on now as a defensive coordinator. But what are your views on this one?
Yeah, I bet Wisconsin at 3. Straight up. Spencer Sanders enters portal, so does a million other people. There are problems at Oklahoma State, and that is not the type of team I like to back in a bowl game, especially when you have a quality opponent in Wisconsin. It's not like they're playing Coastal Carolina. No offense to the Chance, but I mean, Wisconsin's actually a good team. I don't really care that Mertz is out. Braylon Allen today said that he was staying at Wisconsin, or at least he said, don't believe everything you hear.
Don't quote the
He
sources.
said,
I'm the sources, I believe.
yeah, he said breaking Braylon Allen is back at Wisconsin.
Oh, did he? I missed that. I saw him say, don't believe, I don't know what sources or whatever, I'm the source or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, he tweeted that yesterday, and then today they must have upped his NIL deal or something. They said, update. Sources tell me Braylon Allen is a Wisconsin Badger. That feels like a weird thing to say if you're not planning on staying through the bowl, at least through the bowl game.
It's
but
the old, what's it called? Is it a rope-a-dope? You tell Wisconsin you're coming back, and then 2 weeks later, it's like, by the way, I'm joining Michigan after they make it to the national championship.
I've had a chance to consult with my family and God, and they tell me that I need to be a Wolverine.
Respect my decision.
Respect my decision.
Yeah.
I listen. I think Wisconsin actually probably ponied up a little bit of NIL for him. So that's my assumption on what happened there. But yeah, I'm on Wisconsin pretty heavily. I actually think that's by far the right side in this matchup.
Wednesday, December 28th, we get the Military Bowl presented by Periton. 9-4 UCF, which is favored by 1.5 versus 8-4 Duke. I think this could be a very fun matchup. If John Reese Plumlee is healthy, him going up against Duke with Riley Leonard going up against UCF. Do you have a play in this one?
Yeah, I like the Duke money line actually. You can get like plus 115 on FanDuel. I'm not sorry side here. I think Duke can win this game. UCF's defense was better earlier in the season. They've kind of tailed off a little bit. And Duke has just been really impressive. They've just been playing really, really good football. They beat Wake for the last game of the season in pretty convincing fashion. The game was closer than I think it actually was. Like Duke was moving the ball. Like their success rate was incredibly high. They were hitting explosive plays. Wake wasn't really. I like this matchup. I actually not sure JRP is totally healthy, but Mikey Keene entered the portal. So we saw some Thomas Castellanos last week. I don't know if that was like getting him reps or like he was like JRP was hurt. I have no idea what to think of him, but he's had a nagging hamstring injury all year. So I'm on Duke regardless if he's healthy or not. But if he isn't healthy, I think that you're going to see this line move a bunch. You can get it 1.5 on FanDuel, or you can play the money line. Both make sense.
Yeah, do it now because I think, especially if JRP is hurt, I don't know how you can expect Thomas Castellanos, who cannot pass the ball. I shouldn't say that. He's a better passer than John Reese Plumlee, I guess. I don't really know.
I don't even think that's true.
No? So, okay.
Wasn't UCF the only team to offer him to play quarterback in the entire country, and that's why he went there?
He was recruited to play cornerback and I believe running back everywhere else. But, I mean, he is a good athlete. I want to say Wisconsin offered him to play running back. So, I'm like, that they thought he was a good running back, so he could probably do a little bit on the ground with his legs, but I guess he can't throw the ball. It kind of limits,
He absolutely can be a good rusher of the football, yes.
The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, 6-6 Kansas versus 6-6 Arkansas, favored by 4.5. If Jalen Daniels is healthy, I think this could be a very exciting game with both these defenses really struggling in the back half with Jalen Daniels versus KJ Jefferson, who will be back, I assume, playing in this game. I know he's kind of been beaten up as well, but Malik Hornsby's gone into the portal. Don't really have much options there, Arkansas behind him.
Don't they have a freshman quarterback that we graded?
Do they? I don't know. I'll look.
I don't know. I don't remember
honestly
either.
Don't remember. So,
and that's a bad sign to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm assuming KJ Jefferson plays in this game as well. I like the Arkansas side if that's true, but I'm not passionate about it. I think that's the right side, but they've played some pretty crappy football the last 2 months. So I'm not. They just have a bunch of injuries, and Miles Slusher was suspended indefinitely. I don't know if he was kicked off the team or not. He had that illegal incident last month. So I don't love the Arkansas side. I'm probably not going to play this game. I haven't yet, but that is the side I certainly lean in this matchup. I just think they're better. They just have better players than Kansas does. Kansas is a great story, but Arkansas has a bunch of SEC dudes. I am concerned if Drew Sanders doesn't play. I'm not sure he's playing in the bowl game or not. He did declare for the NFL draft today, so we'll see.
So Arkansas does have Cade Fortin, but it shows that he redshirted. And I imagine if he redshirted, that means he can't play in this game.
So Cade Fortin went from UNC to South Florida to Arkansas?
It looks like it.
I feel way worse if he plays too.
It shows him on here as redshirt. I don't know what that
gosh.
means exactly, but yeah, this man, as fun as it is for us to cover the transfer portal, this is really going to screw some team. Can you imagine it's just KJ Jefferson for Arkansas? If he gets banged up at all, good luck to Raheem Sanders, who's going to have to tote the ball like 50 times in the second half. Like
I was going to say, don't be surprised if you see the Wildcat.
That doesn't. I mean, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the game, but that does not sound fun at all.
Oh yeah, I'm watching the game. Yeah, no question. I don't care what happens.
This one is going to be probably one of my favorites of the bowl game schedule. The San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. I don't know why it has to be that long. 9-3 Oregon, who's ranked 15th in the country and favored by 11 points, versus 9-4 North Carolina. We do know that Bo Nix has announced he will be playing in the bowl game. Don't know if he's going to be going to the NFL draft. I would think that means he's probably leaning toward coming back for his final year of eligibility. And at least right now of this recording, we assume Drake May will not be in the portal and will be playing for North Carolina. So, thoughts on this one?
I like Oregon.
With the 11? Really?
Yeah, I do. There's actually 10.5 on BetMGM, but I mean, not that it really matters because you still need 11. But yeah, I lean Oregon in this matchup. Like UNC's defense is awful. Yeah. Like they let anybody score on them. Clemson, Notre Dame, like these are terrible offenses. UNC and Tony Grimes entered the portal today. Like they are pretty down on the defensive side of the ball. And I have a suspicion in the back of my mind that we might see more transfers out of UNC. Yeah, and that's a possibility.
So do I, unfortunately. And I think the worst part about that is, or correct me if I'm wrong, Oregon's defense is more susceptible to the run, not necessarily the pass. So they're
more susceptible to the pass.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't necessarily know if Josh Downs is
probably
gonna play in this game.
Jacoby
Criswell already entered the portal, so if
I think Drake game incoming. I mean, I'm sorry, Drake May will be there starting. My bad, I didn't say that.
If something happens to Drake May, whether he's nursing an injury or not, or whatever, I don't feel that confident that Connor Harrell can tote the load at quarterback. So
that would really put a little bit of a damper on this game. I do think it could be fun if Drake May is there, just with what he was able to. I mean, he definitely struggled those last 3 games, but if we can get peak early season Drake May there against a good Oregon defense, like that would be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
The last game on Wednesday, December 28th, is the Tax Act Texas Bowl. 7-5 Texas Tech versus 8-4 Ole Miss. Ole Miss favored by 4. I mean, I think this could be a fun shootout, although there's a chance that Barrett Morton may be the only quarterback on Texas Tech's roster by the time this game comes, as Donovan Smith has already entered the portal, and now there are rumors that Tyler Shuck will be doing that as well. But still, Zach Kitley calling the plays. Like, I think they could definitely put some points up on here. Ole Miss is going to run the ball a ton. I expect probably a massive game from Quinshawn here. Maybe Jackson Dart starts to get it going, but I think this could be a fun game. You have any plays in this one?
No, I don't. I wish that it was like 3 for Ole Miss because then I would play it. 4's like, not really. I don't know what to think about this game, to be honest. I think that there's a lot of different ways this can go. Texas rush defense is pretty bad. So, like, if anything, I'll probably play Quinshawn over on like his rushing yards. Like, that's probably the way that I will play this game.
All right. Thursday, December 29th, we get the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl.
Love it.
7-5 Syracuse versus 8-4 Minnesota, who's favored by 7. Possibly Sean Tucker's last game. We haven't seen if he is going to play in this or not. I don't know. Kind of going back to the conversation we've been having, what the reason would be for him to play. I don't really have much, I don't really care about this game, if I'm being honest.
I have Minnesota -7. I don't think Garrett Schrader is going to play in this game. I'd be surprised if he did. I don't think he's out for the season, but I think he's like wink done for the season. I don't think Sean Tucker is going to. Well, I don't know. Sean Tucker is going to play. He should come back, is what he really should do, but I don't know that he will. Minnesota will just run all over the Syracuse front 7, which is awful against the run. So I feel pretty good. The Minnesota defense can stifle some stuff, and they'll just run a bunch. So there aren't really a lot of interesting players in this game outside of Sean Tucker either.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I could see Muhammad Ibrahim playing, but I don't know that's going to be like great to. I mean, his 4 yards in a cloud of dust every handoff. Like, I don't know.
Oh, I bet if he plays
Over 200 yards.
I was going to say over 200 yards. I think that he might run wild on this defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I would not be surprised. The first of 2 Cheez-It Bowls here. 6-6 Oklahoma versus 9-3 Florida State, who's ranked at 13th. Florida State only favored by 7. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overrating Jordan Travis and Florida State. I feel like this is a chance to be a very bad game. And I personally would take Florida State, especially with Jordan Travis coming back. What are your thoughts on this one?
So I've seen a lot of people and public models that like Oklahoma here, and I don't really understand why. Bill Connolly, who's at ESPN SP Plus, like one of their most respected like public like odds makers, I would say, or like power raters. He is Oklahoma State favorite in this game, and I just can't get there. Like I bet Florida State at 7. Like I just think that's the right side. I just think they're a substantially better team this Oklahoma team is. Jordan Travis is going to play this game. The question is Jared Verse going to play in this game for Florida State? That might be a concern. Who else does or does not play for Florida State? But Florida State's just a much better team than this Oklahoma team. Just across the board. I like Florida State at 7. The market has not really moved this, which makes me think that there are sharps or betting groups on both sides that are keeping money fairly even, which means it's basically like a pick 'em at 7, like a pick 'em insofar like you can be on either side of the 7 number. But I like Florida State 7, and it's available on DK right now. I'm looking at it.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. The last game, and this is probably
Eric Gray's not playing in that game, by the way, right? Like he declared for the draft.
Think not. He declared for the draft. I think he's gone, which could be good. I'd love to see if maybe we can get some Gavin Sawchuk in there. I imagine it's going to be a lot of Javonte Barnes, and then I don't know if Marcus Major. I haven't seen him declare. I think he's got 1 year of eligibility. So like maybe he. I don't know either. I feel like this guy.
Who knows?
Still till they're 30 now. But I would imagine we see a lot of Javonte Barnes in that one for Oklahoma. The Valero Alamo Bowl, 8-4 Texas ranked at 20, who is favored by 6. Wow. Okay. I did not expect that. Versus 10-2 Washington, who is 12. I would have assumed Washington was favored. Obviously Michael Penix coming back to me makes this game even more intriguing because you get Quinn Ewers, who hopefully can play a good game here, and Steve Sarkisian versus Michael Penix and Kalen DeBoer. Like this game has a chance to be very offensive heavy, a lot of scoring. I don't think Bijan plays, so we might see a lot of Jonathan Brooks and Jadon Blue. I think this could be a very fun game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun game too. I do not have a play in this game. If anything, I'll lean over. But I don't have the total in front of me, so give me 1 sec. Over, yeah, 6-7.5. That's not a bad number. I might play the over 6-7.5. I think that this could be a high scoring game. I really think Quinn can. This might be like a breakout, like a delayed breakout for him. Had one earlier in the year. I think this could be a nice spot for him to rebound.
Because, I mean, let's just be honest. If he goes out there and throws for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, I get to be insufferable all offseason because it's the last thing he left us with, and I would just...
And you can always blame the hand injury on it.
100%. That's what I'll do. I mean...
He had 4 weeks to he had 5 weeks to prep for this game. Exactly. Like, his hand was totally healed.
Yeah, Felix can move the goalposts and everything. I'm going to do the same thing here. But I really do think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to have to figure out, because I think that one starts at like 8:30 my time, and I have to be up at 3 that Friday for work. So like, I'm going to have to figure, I'm just going to have to deal with it. It's going to be a long Friday at work because I will not miss a second of that game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. Friday, 9 Eastern time kicks off.
Well, that's not bad. I guess 8, so you're probably looking at it's going to be over by like 10, 30, 11. No, I take that back. That's bad.
Yeah.
Friday, December 30th, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Do we know if these coaches have bought in on getting mayo dumped on them like Beamer and who I forgot who they played last year?
UNC.
UNC, yeah.
Beamer did accept the dunking, and he did it. I think Mike Loxley would.
You don't
I'm
think
not sure
Doran would?
Doran would.
Yeah.
He doesn't really seem like that type of guy. Maybe he is. I don't
Yeah.
know. I lean Maryland this game though. I don't know if Tim Beck's going to coach. Maybe he is, but MJ Morris is out for the year. Titus knee scoped allegedly. Yeah, I think this is just a bad matchup for NC State. I think Tulia Tagovailoa can really do some damage against this NC State defense, and I think NC State might have a couple defensive starters that sit out as well. Like they had 3 linebackers who I think could have been first team All ACC. Like that's how good this linebacker unit is. I think you're probably going to miss 2 of them in this matchup.
The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, 8-4 Pitt versus 9-3. I know the names, right? Versus 9-3 UCLA, who's ranked at 18. UCLA favored by 7. I actually kind of like this matchup. Pitt has a very good rush defense, and that is obviously UCLA's strength. Dorian Thompson Robinson, and if Zach Charbonnet plays, going to be their final games here for UCLA. Another spot that we might see DJU going to. You have any plays in this one?
I actually texted Austin when this opened, and I was like, "Is there a reason UCLA is only favored by 3.5?" He was like, "No, I don't understand." I was like, "All right, makes sense, cool." And so I played UCLA. It's now up to 7 at every place but that's FanDuel. Yeah, everywhere but FanDuel, you can still get 6.5. I'm playing that. Like Pitt. What does Pitt have?
Nothing
like
now.
On
I
offense,
mean, Keaton is gone. I would assume Israel Bonaconda probably plays. He hasn't declared yet.
I thought he did. Well, maybe he didn't declare. I thought he did, but maybe.
Maybe he did. Maybe I missed that one. I didn't think he did. So I mean, if he declared, they have nothing. I would definitely bet UCLA then. Yeah, because
Keaton's
obviously
gone.
I
don't think he's declared. I think you're right. That's my bad. But like Nick Patty entered the portal too.
Oh, see, I missed that. Jeez.
Oh, I'm just guessing he does. I don't know that he actually
Yeah, I mean,
will.
with Phil Jurkovec coming in, he's not going to start. So
yes, like I would be surprised if he entered the portal too. But he might play in the bowl game. I don't know if he will or he won't. But I do not like this Pitt offense regardless. So I'm all over UCLA here.
All right, this is one of my favorite bowls, and I hope you get a shirt made up for this one. So it's a Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. It is the Catholics versus the Cox, and like I just can't. I really think that you need to get a shirt made up for that.
Catholics versus the Cox.
Catholics versus the Cox. We got the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at 8-4, ranked 21, favored by 4.5 versus 8-4 South Carolina, ranked 19. Spencer Rattler said he's playing. I know they've had a couple of their tight ends enter the transfer portal, but still, obviously, very good showing here for Spencer Rattler and your Cox here toward the end of the season. Any plays in this one?
No, I don't bet South Carolina football because I know they can hurt me.
Even with them, Notre Dame doesn't have a quarterback. Drew Pines in the portal. Tyler Buckner can't play. Like, I don't know.
Listen,
it's really weird. I was gonna say I kind of feel the Cox here. Like I feel them. It's getting weird here, but
I feel the Cox. I lean South Carolina 3.5. I think that's the right side here. But you're not gonna catch me dead playing it because I do not. I just don't do that. I can't trust the Cox.
They are hard to trust. They really are. The Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, 9-4 Ohio, who is is favored by 1.5 for 7-5 Wyoming. I've got nothing in this one. Do you have any plays?
Yeah, I actually think Ohio is being unfairly discounted in this matchup because how bad they played against Toledo. Like Wyoming's defense is not really nearly good as Toledo's, and I think CJ Harris is all right. Like he had a bad game last week. Like that's what you expect from a guy who's starting his second career game against a really good MAC defense in Toledo. Wyoming has seen a bunch of transfers. They also kicked Titus One off their team. Well, kicked him off and then he transferred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those you can't fire me, I quit kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one of those. I like Ohio here. And I actually play them at a worse number than what you currently get, which is 1. I think Ohio's the right side. I'm a little surprised that Wyoming is gaining money in the market. I just think that's the wrong side with all the transfers seeing out of that program, especially on offense too. Like Joshua Cobbs, who's their wide receiver 1, is out. And like I like DQ, who's the backup behind Swen, but like I don't know. I just don't know how Wyoming is going to really be able to move the ball or stop this Ohio offense. So I'm on Ohio.
All right, I don't know why they're playing this game. As we talked about in our Slack, we already know that South Carolina won it, but the Capital One Orange Bowl, 10-2 Tennessee, who's ranked 6, versus 11-2 Clemson, ranked 7. Clemson getting 7 here. Obviously, the big story, Cade Klubnik. It will be his first start. Imagine he's going up against Joe Milton in this one. Have any plays on this one? I think I would lean Clemson, but I mean, Tennessee's offense could get it going.
Another FanDuel opportunity where if you were early, you got Clemson 2.5. But yeah, I still like Clemson 6.5. I think they're certainly the right side. I think I don't know how many opt-outs you're gonna see on this Clemson team. Like they don't really feel like an opt-out type team. Like Dabo feels like the type that would
family,
keep these dudes
unity,
interested,
cult culture. Yeah,
exactly. He has them drinking the Kool-Aid for sure, and so I think we're gonna see very few Clemson opt-outs, and they're a substantially better team than Tennessee if that's true. So, and I think you might see Tennessee opt-outs. I think you might see Jalen Hyatt not play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he did just sign that NIL deal to get them all hotel rooms or something.
That's true.
Like that
the Hyatt deal. He signed the Hyatt hotels.
Yeah, it's a good move. That's like 13 weeks too late on that one. That should have been like a first week NIL deal there. But whatever. They made it happen. That's all that matters. All right, Saturday, December 31st. Now we're getting into the big bowl games here. All-State Sugar Bowl, 10-2 Alabama, who's ranked number 5, is favored by 4.5 versus 10-3 Kansas State, ranked at number 9. Alfred, as we talked about this game last night, said he might take Kansas State in this one. He thinks they're going to come out here and be a little bit plucky. We don't know if Bryce Young is going to play in this game. I feel like he's the kind of guy who would play for Saban. I personally don't think he should. And part of me also doesn't want him to because I'd love to see if we get Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson starting. That's kind of the big storyline, I think, for Alabama because I don't think it matters much whether if like Will Anderson or any of those guys opt out. I think this could be an intriguing game. Do you have any plays in this one?
No, because I don't know what the Alabama quarterback situation is. I actually think Ty Simpson, there's a lot of rumors, I should say, that Ty Simpson is going to be the starter in this game, that they expect Bryce to opt out and Ty to get the start. That would be really exciting to watch, but I don't have any plays. I don't know what to think. I don't know if Deuce Vaughn's going to play in this game. I don't think he should if he's going to declare. But we'll see. It's going to be a good game. I think this is one of the better ones.
Yeah, it'll be a great one-game audition for Ty Simpson because of I'm sorry. It's going to be a great game for him to audition for next year's start for Alabama because they're going to probably roll with him and not a transfer quarterback. Perfect Music City Bowl. I don't get this game.
You want to just skip over this game?
They played each other last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I don't understand. 7-5 Iowa versus 7-5 Kentucky. Kentucky's favored by 2.5. This is actually the one bowl game I probably will not watch. I will watch probably every single other bowl game. This will be the one that I'll be sitting there on Saturday and be like, do we get NFL games on this Saturday again too? Like, can I put on a NFL game? I don't. Will Levis probably not playing. Iowa doesn't even have a quarterback. I don't know what's going to go on here.
I want nothing to do with this game either. And I will not play anything in this game. I will not watch this game. I'll do nothing with this game because I was keeping Brian Ferentz, and that is my protest.
For now. He may, be relocated somewhere else on the staff when the offseason comes. We'll see. He's gonna accept a new job somewhere in the system for still like millions of dollars. All right, the first of the 2 college football semifinal playoff games here, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. We get 12-1 TCU ranked at number 3 versus 13-0 Michigan ranked at number 2. Michigan only favored by 7. This started out at 10.5 when me and Felix did this on Sunday.
I think it was 10. Yeah.
Can Max Duggan in this offense keep it close? That's probably the big question here. I think we know Michigan can probably run the ball fairly easily. I think their defense is going to have much trouble putting pressure on Max Duggan. It's really going to come down to what that offense can do.
Yeah, I was taking Michigan at 9. I'm taking Michigan at 7, 7.5, whatever the best number you currently can get them at. I feel pretty good about the Wolverines beating. I think Duggan's going to be hurt too, or at least somewhat banged up. So
yeah, he's been banged up for the past 3 or 4 weeks. So
yeah.
Which I hate to say it because that means they're walking into at least a shot to win a national championship, and they'll all be insufferable for a year if that happens. The next semifinal game in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, 11-1 Ohio State ranked at 4 versus 13-0 Georgia ranked number 1. Georgia still sitting at 6.5. I mean, the big questions here, obviously, can Ohio State's front finally figure out a way to put pressure on a quarterback? And Stetson Bennett's the only way they're going to get turnovers. Can Ohio State's offense figure out their struggles? Taking Georgia here, Ohio State in the points. I really don't know what to do with this game. Like, my heart and my head are telling me two different things, and I don't know which one to listen to.
I have no play currently, but when it opened at 7, I played Ohio State. I think Ohio State is the type of team that can beat Georgia. I don't know if they will. I think they're good, like one of the better matchups for Georgia. I don't know that they can beat them, though. I have a really tough time seeing their path to winning. And 6.5 is not a lot of points, but I feel way better if I was getting a touchdown.
Yeah, I really don't know what to think on this one. I mean, the one thing I will say is you've talked all year about how Georgia's defensive line has not really sacked the quarterback as much as they did last year, which is kind of where Stroud struggles. And I think Georgia's weakest part on their defense is actually their cornerback. So maybe Mecca and Marvin Harrison can cause issues, but I think without any type of running game, at some point, Ohio State's just going to stall out. And I don't know that we get Mayan Williams back. And I don't know that defense is going to be able. Georgia's been really good with explosive plays as well. I don't know that Ohio State will be able to stop them. It's going to be a long night, and the only thing I have to look forward to is, like, at least I get to start the new year a couple hours after that game ends, and I'll probably be drunk either way, whether they win or lose. So
there you go.
We'll see. Monday, January 2nd, we have got the ReLaQuest Bowl, 8-4 Mississippi State, ranked number 22 versus 8-4 Illinois. Mississippi State, a 1-point favorite. I actually am interested to watch this game. Mississippi State with that air raid offense going up against the cornerbacks for Illinois, who I think are really good. Any plays in this one?
No, because I actually think the Illinois cornerbacks might not play.
Oh, well, actually, it probably makes sense. So
yeah, they won secondary of the year, like maybe an hour before we started recording. Like, this is a really good secondary, but I also don't know how many of them are actually going to play. Like, Devon Witherspoon probably deserved a little bit of Heisman talk, but we're not going to get it because he's a corner.
All right, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, 11-2 Tulane ranked at 16 versus 11-2 USC ranked 10. USC 2.5-point favorites. The big thing here is Michael Pratt, who's been phenomenal for Tulane this year, versus Caleb Williams, who has come out and said that he will be playing after dealing with the hamstring injury there in USC's Pac-12 championship game. I just think this one's going to be a lot of fun. The big thing will be, we've seen against good secondaries, Caleb Williams has struggled a little bit. I don't expect Jordan Addison to play in this one with him going into the NFL. USC hurt, obviously, on the offensive line a little bit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Caleb Williams struggle a little bit in this one, but do you have any plays?
Not currently. I did when it was over a field goal. I played Tulane, most with the assumption that Caleb was out, but if Caleb's going to play, I feel way less good about that. Yeah, if Jordan Addison's not playing, you were on Campus Life for like 2 seconds yesterday.
Yeah.
And you brought this up where we don't, like, they've really struggled to generate passing offense without Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
I don't know they could do that against this Tulane secondary, which is legitimately one of the better secondaries in the country, even if in a Power 5 level or Power 5 Group 5 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Really good unit. And Tajay Spears, assuming he plays in this game, gonna run for a lot of yards.
Yeah. It's one of those games with, I'm off that Monday. I might try and just like start emailing whoever's, I assume it's going to be Goodyear, and just be like, hey, Campus to Canton, we want to get credentialed for this game and see if I can get there, because I think this could be a great game to watch in person.
That's in Jerry World?
I believe so. Yeah. So I'd love to be there to see that. The other Cheez-It Bowl, Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, you get 9-4 LSU ranked 17th, who are favored by 8 versus 8-5 Purdue. I don't really know what, like, I feel like LSU's defensive front will be able to kind of beat up on Purdue a little bit. I don't really know what to think about this game.
Yeah, I lean LSU 8, but I'm not that confident. I don't know who's going to play from LSU. Keisha Butte announced he was coming back, though. So like I assume he's going to play. That was pretty surprising to me.
I assume Jaden Daniels is playing. Technically has one more year of eligibility. I mean, wants to use it.
He'll play, assuming he's healthy, and I think he is. He was banged up, but he did suffer that injury against Georgia. It took him out in the second half, but I think that part of that may have been a little precautionary. And I actually like the way Garrett Nussmeier played.
Yeah,
like I probably lean LSU regardless.
All right, the last bowl game of bowl season. Obviously, without the national championship, we can't discuss any odds on that right now, as we don't technically know who's playing in that. 10-2 Penn State, who's ranked 11th, is favored by 1.5 versus 10-3 Utah, ranked number 8. Definitely Sean Clifford's final game, possibly Cam Rising's final game as well, with him having a chance to go into the NFL. I almost think we could see very much a Ohio State Utah-esque rematch of what we saw last year with the way that these two offenses can get going. What are your thoughts on this one? Any plays?
No plays. It's basically pick 'em. I think both these teams can do damage. I still don't know how good this Utah front seven is. I think they're soft, but certainly took it to Caleb last week, so I don't want to stake my claim on that. So I'm staying away from this game. I will certainly watch it, but not that confident on the side for sure.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a great game. All right, guys, that's it for us. That's all the bowl games. We've given you plays on all of them. If you are not a member of the website, it's $2.99 a month. Like, what are you doing? Get all this betting information. Jump in the Discord. Moxley's giving you updated betting stuff all the time in there as well. We'll do a little bit more of these as the season goes on. We'll probably try and do some bowl previews, quick short videos throughout the year as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you don't miss those when they drop. Outside of that, everybody have a great day. Tune in tomorrow. Devy Debate. I'm sure we'll have some very interesting discussions on there.